I have had a YouTube for over 4 years now, and that is the first time I've done that. I've gone live muted. I have never gone live and forgot to click. So the way OBS works, you click start streaming, and then you have to click go live. I clicked start streaming, and I just talked for 8 minutes, 9 minutes. It's 10:09. I just talked for 9 minutes thinking I was live. I went through a bunch of bullet points. I started talking about like upcoming video, what I should do. I talked a little bit about New Jersey Collecticon, and I can't believe I just did that. Anyways, as always, feel free to leave your questions in the chat. I had answered a couple of them, but I will answer them again. I will erase that last 10 minutes from my memory. That was weird. I was talking to the camera. I thought I was talking to chat. I even said I thought OBS had broken because like my YouTube live chat wasn't going. It still isn't going, which is a little concerning to me. I see people like, here comes the excuses. I think I'm actually live, but that was that was very bad. I will repeat all the things that I said to nobody. I had a busy week getting back from New Jersey Collecticon. If people want me to recap my New Jersey Collecticon experience in tonight's live stream, I can do that. If people want me to go old-fashioned, catch 'em all collectibles, PowerPoint presentation to recap my Collecticon experience and recap my vacation, historically speaking, my Collecticons were more business, and they're still business related, adjacent, but lately, especially the last two, were like week-long family vacations with one day being the convention, and then some of the extracurriculars. I went to Grimer's suite at the recommended hotel. I went out to dinner with a bunch of people. I have a couple of pictures to share from Pokemon stuff, from non-Pokemon stuff. If people want that in a separate video, I can do that. If people want that tonight, I can do that towards the end. I probably won't do that at the outset. But as always, this is a Dan Catch 'em all Collectibles live stream. It says Market Q&A in the title. So if you have any market questions, if you have any questions about what's going on, feel free to ask me. I will answer them to the best of my ability, as always. Man, I feel like I'm getting deja vu because I'm saying the same things over. But I have a fairly hard cut time at midnight tonight. So I'm going to go for what was supposed to be 2 hours. Now it'll maybe be an hour and 50 minutes because I was talking to nobody for 10 minutes. But I will probably go till about midnight. I will answer any and all questions. Choose your own adventure, so feel free to ask whatever you are curious about asking. I know there's a lot of big things in the news, as there always are. It is Black and White release day. It has been a nightmare. It has been a nightmare because I was traveling I got back Wednesday at 1 a.m. from my vacation, from my Collecticon business pleasure vacation. And Wednesday at 1 a.m., boxes were in my driveway that had gotten rained on a little bit. And PK sent his dad, which works out great. PK sent his dad, and his dad picked up all the product that I had on Thursday at noon, which was about half of my product, half of my minuscule amount of product. So PK does not have many packs. Pong does not have many packs. I feel like this is going to be the first weekend that we sell out on the live stream, not because of absurd amount of sales, more because of absurd minimal amount of product on hand, an embarrassingly low amount of product on hand for a big streaming operation, main set release, 2 main set releases on one day. So not too thrilled about the way Black and White release is going from that front. And then this was one thing that I ranted about for 3 or 4 minutes of the 8 to 10 minutes that I was not live. The $350 million autograph scandal, if people have questions about that. I said this already, but I'm saying it again. PK went live last night. He had some comments on it. I listened to another video or two about it. I think Nia made a video. A couple other people I listened to videos. I don't like talking too much about things that I haven't consumed firsthand information on. I always do it like here and there. I try to say like, hey, this is multiple stages of a game of telephone. This is me talking about like what I heard from other people. But overall, not super surprised. Not super surprised in that 4+ years of me being on YouTube and having this channel, PokeFlip's channel, all my guest appearances. I've talked about third-party authentication a lot. Third-party authentication, I've talked PSA, CGC, BGS. I'm not a huge fan of the whole, like, consistency, all that stuff, legitimacy, whatever. And card grading is, like, here. I'm not a huge fan. I feel like they don't do an amazing job, but, like, they do it good enough, whatever. Clearly, the market likes it. Third-party autograph authentication is an absolute joke. I would go so far as to say sham, scam. It always has been, in my opinion. I have never have had any belief in third-party experts' ability to render an opinion on the authenticity, render an accurate opinion. Anyone can render an opinion. Oh yes, I think Mitsuhiro Arita signed this. I think Fukuda autographed this or sketched on this, whatever. But like authoring an actual accurate opinion on that, I don't think any of them could. The only thing I did like, and I've talked about this before, CGC, I believe, has like an in-person thing that they used to have. I think they stopped doing that, or I think they combined with JSA, and now that's like not as ironclad as it used to be. But like, if you, I'm not trying to yuck yums, if you like autos, in that you went and you got Imakuni to sign your card at Worlds. I was there at Worlds. I had the opportunity. I didn't go to the signing event because I was just hanging out, having a good time. Never been a big auto guy. I think it's all been a joke, and I think it's not that surprising to hear what's come out. So Monday's video, let me know in the comments. Monday's video could be the $350 scam, sham, all the third party, Dan ranting heavily, red light Dan on how much of a joke all that auto stuff always was. Monday morning quarterbacking, victory lapping, dancing on the grave of autograph authentication. But one thing that I actually noticed, I was live and I saw that like during the peak boom, not that we're not booming right now, but during the YouTube peak boom, I was getting like 100, 200 live viewers on a video. I saw that there were only 17 people. It was like 10:05. Like, there's only 17 people tonight. Man, market's about to crash. And I see there's at least 43 people watching. Usually lately I'm in the high double digits, low triple digits by the time I like peak for my live stream. Given that it's a Friday night, will it be higher, will it be lower? I have no idea. Hopefully people are out there watching PK instead. That brings in some more revenue, brings in some more money than my YouTube ad revenue does. Anyways, but yeah, Monday could be, let me look at my notes app, my notes thing for what Monday's video could be. I'm not decided. Had some really interesting conversations in New Jersey that gave me like ideas for videos that I want to do. I'll definitely never get to every video idea that I have because more come in than I can pump out one video a week. But the 5 things I sold too soon, that's a video that I talked about making a couple months ago, and that will happen at some point. The whole household budget thing, having a business, getting more like, this is how much having a business subsidize my personal expenses, subsidize my travel, subsidize my household expenses, and that's a video that I'm gonna make. Lot of finance topics that going back to the one that I made last Monday. A lot of finance topics that I want to cover. Maybe a finance channel just needs to be made. But on top of that, there's the auto scam thing, and then there's the other one that I just said. It's been a long week. There's the other one that I just said that's the CollectCon recap and the vacation recap. But yeah, let me see what's going on in chat now that people are actually here. Beta investments. Dan, what tax advice are we getting today? How to write off vacations as a business expense? That's funny. So I did travel. Let me touch on this a little bit. I went to, I'm a business in the space of collectible retail resale. And there's multiple parts to that, including networking, including sourcing, including selling. And I went and I had lengthy business meetings, conversations, maybe over a couple IPAs, maybe over some tacos, some good Mexican food, but I had a lot of meetings with people, various clients, various customers, various people that I buy from, and 100% legitimate to write off my hotel stay for the night that I went to CollectiCon. Very legitimate to write off all the travel of driving, tolls to that event, back and forth, all that stuff. When I went further and I went from Edison, New Jersey, and I went down to Wildwood, New Jersey, and I went to Maurice Pier, and I went to Chuck E. Cheese on Saturday, and all these things that we did. That stuff was on my personal credit card. That stuff was not written off. But given the fact that I got there, not for free, writing it off. Sometimes people talk about things, writing them off as if they're like free. No, like writing something off means that the few $100s worth of gas to get me there, the $100 worth of CollectiCon tickets for my wife and myself, the kids are free. All that stuff was a write-off, which means that if I'm making enough income where I'm in like a 50% bracket between state and federal and all that different stuff, if it costs me $1,000 worth of stuff that is business oriented that I can write off, that's a $500 savings. And that's money that I would have had to spend, because to drive to Wildwood, I'm driving through Edison anyways. So like, that's where, like, the house that I live in, I mentioned this in my video on Monday, the house that I live in, I would live in anyways. The house that I live in, I used to live in the same one when I was a chemical engineer full time. And when I was a chemical engineer, you don't get to write off any part of your house. I guess technically, if for my role of a chemical engineer, if I had business use of home or a home office, certain place that was solely used for that, I could have wrote off some portion of it. But now that I'm doing a business out of it full time, and it's a much larger footprint that I'm using solely, exclusively for the business, and then storage can be mixed. But I'm writing off a pretty reasonable percentage of the square footage of my house, because the inventory, the office, all that stuff takes up a pretty significant percentage. And that percentage can go towards the taxes, towards the utilities, towards the all the stuff that goes into the house. So all that stuff, like, and same thing with a vehicle. If I have a 2-vehicle household and one of us is a teacher and one of us is an engineer, you don't get any deductions for commuting to your job. I think the big beautiful bill, whatever it was called, I think that actually added the ability to deduct some auto loan interest or something. I don't have auto loan interest. I don't have mortgage interest. Many people, most is maybe stretching it, but probably not. Many people know enough to know that mortgage interest in certain instances is deductible. But I've pushed back on some people that have said it before. Like, I know enough about your situation that I know you would be taking the standard deduction. And I'm like, oh, you know that the mortgage thing is like something that only goes in if you itemize. And they're like, I don't know what that means. I have a mortgage. I pay mortgage interest. I'm getting a deduction. Many people that have a mortgage probably aren't getting any kind of a benefit from that tax-wise, because the standard deduction, at least under Trump, has been ballooned to be very large, and it simplifies things for a lot of people to just not have to itemize, take that standard deduction. Now you've got the whole, again, I'm not like super into politics or anything, but like I watch a lot of finance content. The SALT deductions for your SALT, state and local taxes, they will factor in to where more people are itemizing than used to be. So more people, due to the SALT changes, will now be itemizing and getting a benefit of some kind of their mortgage interest. But again, going back to like some people here writing it off. Oh, I'm writing off my mortgage interest. That means every penny of mortgage interest that I pay is free now. That's not what it means. If you are paying income taxes at the 20% threshold, you're like saving 20%, which is big, which is actually huge. To be able to buy things for a subsidized matter, which, yeah, that's where this whole thing started from. Subsidizing vacations through business expenses. It sounds naughty, it sounds bad, but done the right way, it's legitimately a thing that you can do. And it's a thing that I legitimately, completely above board, I did do with my trip to Wildwood, New Jersey. I got to Wildwood cheaper, effectively, because a large portion of the 4 hours of the 6-hour drive were transporting me to a convention where all those expenses around that were 100% deductible. So yeah, long ranty rambly thing. This was before I was even live. Let's see, we got John Flint in here when I was supposed to be live. Beta says, I could be out being the social butterfly I'm truly supposed to be, but no, Dan has to go live and trap me into tax tips to make sure I have a return next year. A refund next year. Return is what you file. Refund is what you get. Watch or don't watch, buy or buy, BUY or BYE. I apparently was actually late. I was here. I was streaming, but I was not live. Like, again, you start streaming and then you go live. And I apologize to everyone that was trying to watch and to myself for wasting that 8 to 10 minutes. Me streaming on a product release night, I've said this before. All the things that I say in this channel don't coincide with like maximum product consumption. The overlap between the things that I say and do on this channel and the sales outlets that I sell through, like most of my viewers, most of my 7,000 whatever subscribers are not large consumers of me. Most of them actually, disproportionately, like more of my following sells to me than buys from me. So me going live on black and white release date, I'm forgetting now how much of this I said when I wasn't live versus when I was live, but this release is dark. I have such a little allocation. Half of the product came late. PK's dad picked up on Thursday half of what I got allocated, which was like nothing. PK Pongo will probably sell out this weekend. We've never had that happen. I've always picked on Nick. He sells at MSRP and he sells out. But I'm likely going to sell out. PK Pongo are likely going to sell out on black and white sometime this weekend. I hope they don't, kind of. Optimally, I hope they do right when they're ending their stream at 2 a.m. or whatever. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan. It was made worse by the fact that I was traveling last week for sure. Because if I wasn't traveling, I would have been here. Product sat in my driveway for like one night. Some of it came Tuesday, actually. I got home Wednesday at 1 a.m. Some of it had been there since Tuesday afternoon. And I could have turned more of that around. I could have broke it down more. I could have realized sooner how little I had. I wasn't paying a close mind on like what actually was coming from my two distributors. And it was not much. So I am buying. If you are out there, I'm limiting how much I'm buying at this price. I will update a new hot buy list on Monday. But as of today, I was buying Black Bolt and White Flare for $8.50 a pack each. I was hoping to get like 2,000, 2,500 packs of each. I've gotten a little over 1,000 of each. So if you're watching this right now, it's tough because like I need it now. I need it yesterday. PK Ponga need it yesterday. But DM me, email me, Instagram, Discord, however you want to reach out to me. If you want to sell Black Bolt White Flare, I'm buying at least up to another 1,000 packs at $8.50 a pack of each. So 1,000 Black Bolt, 1,000 White Flare. Feel free to reach out if you're looking to sell to me. This is the worst console ever. Should we be concerned? Could it be mowing the lawn? I mowed the lawn no more than 8 hours ago. Boom over Dan late. This was my comment at 10:08. Oh crap. When I realized that I was streaming but I was not live. Could be cleaning out the Lambo, or maybe the limo was late to the tarmac. Thankfully I didn't make it quite till 10 minutes late, so no search and rescue required. This is Skaya's fire emojis. Nice to see you here, Skaya. When I did go live, Skaya, if you're still here, we gotta talk. We gotta talk soon. eBay Live is kind of sitting there. MetaZoo Set 2 is coming soon. Skya being streamer, Pokemon streamer number 3, potentially. Being a primary Pokemon streamer for eBay Live, potentially. I had some conversations. Sky was not at New Jersey, but I had some conversations in New Jersey that I need to follow up on. Again, humble fisherman, enough instead of more. There definitely isn't enough. But 2 streamers is not enough. 2 streamers on one platform when I have access to 2 restricted platforms. I need to do a little bit more than I'm doing right now. So there will be Sky is already streamer number 3. Sky will do hopefully at some point. He will hopefully do a bit more Pokemon. And there will be a 4th streamer at some point too. There will be a 4th streamer at some point. And it'll probably be a combination of eBay Live and Fanatics. So I need to few weeks already. There's going to be Charlotte Kleticon was escaping my mind. Charlotte was what I was looking for. But yeah, Charlotte Kleticon will be in a few weeks. So I need to man, everything really threw me. 2 weeks ago, going to Cleveland for basically a week, and then just getting back from basically a week in New Jersey. I am like all over the place. I caught up on messages, I caught up on payouts, but I need to get a lot of things back in order, back going smoothly. Any thoughts on the crypto bills passing? Good or bad for crypto, good or bad for Pokemon? So again, I talked a little bit about the big beautiful bill 10 minutes ago, and I know a little bit about it. I listened to a fair bit of finance content, but like on my travel, all I listened to the whole 6-hour drive was Kids Bop Radio. I listened to Disney Radio, whatever it was. I usually listen to my podcasts during my working hours while I'm doing consignor payouts, while I'm sourcing, while I'm pre-grading, whatever it may be. So I've listened to a couple things talking about it. I'm aware that a few bills passed. I think they were within that big bill, but I'm trying to remember exactly what they were. I'm trying to remember what exactly the things were that were inside of it. And my fried brain, they're not coming right to the front of my brain. Let me do a very quick Google. New crypto bill overview. The Genius Act focused on regulating stablecoins. Oh, I remember that now. I think there was a thing that was being signed where I believe they made it so the Fed couldn't create a stablecoin, and I think they kind of paved the way for things like Walmart and Amazon and maybe eBay someday will create stablecoins. Probably they'll be more like USDC than USDT. They'll probably have to be, especially for a publicly traded company, they'll have to be fully backed dollar for dollar by US dollars. But yeah, I interested in that. I think that's extremely interesting. I have talked for a long time about my frustrations with banking and how miserable it is. Good, and I need to think about this a lot, and a lot more intelligent people who are deep into macro finance need to think about it, and I'll listen to their thoughts on it as well. But like Visa and PayPal and American Express and Discover and MasterCard are probably not massive fans of that. I don't really look at individual stocks too frequently. If I had to guess, like, let me pull up like Visa. I would think that would be like at least short term, maybe short term overreaction to that news. I feel like that would be short term bearish for them because they do how many trillions of dollars worth or billions of dollars worth of transactions, and they're kind of expensive, and they're kind of like they're kind of not that they're slow, but they're kind of like there's issues with them. There's some benefits to that. There's pros and cons to everything. There'll be pros and cons to having a Walmart stablecoin, an Amazon stablecoin. Maybe our distributors will have their own stablecoins. There'll be pros and cons, but overall, if there were some stablecoins that were widely accepted, like USDC is there, but if there were more things that I could trade in more openly, more easily, because Coinbase and my bank account don't like talk very well. If there were something better that would talk and behave better with my bank account, if I could fully convert over to USDC, I would. If all my consignors fully adopted it, I would love that. It would be quicker, it would be cheaper, it would be better in every almost every facet. But yeah, that's very, very minimal. Like, again, I'll talk more about the $350 million scam. Maybe I'll talk more about the crypto bills once I consume them more via primary information. But right now, most of what I have is secondary or tertiary information. I'm just going through my pictures quick just in case I show a slideshow later, making sure there's no kids' faces in them. Yeah, I think we're good to go if I want a slideshow later. But maybe I'll do the old school presentation for Monday. Maybe I won't recap in depth the Collecticon vacation experience. Maybe I'll save that for Monday's video. John Moore was asking for me to save that for Monday's video. But yeah, let me know. Be human and give us the rundown. You do you, Dan. Are you getting nervous about your booster boxes under $100 take? You still taking bets? Distribution might ruin it for you. I'm not remotely nervous about that whatsoever. The entire extent of the bet that I made with Retro is like a $300 rocket suitcase. And knowing the hobby that we're in, it's going to take 2 years for that bet to pan out. The only way for me to lose is going to take 2 years. Like, we're going to have to give Destin its full time to run. And I might lose. I know that there's a chance that I lose. And maybe by the time I lose, that suitcase is worth $1,000 or something. And props to Retro. If he called it right and wins that bet, I will gladly give him the rocket suitcase. But right now, the way that I'm mentally accounting for it is like that money's locked away. I'm sitting on the suitcase long term. I actually have 2 of them, so one's for me regardless. One of them's for him. Maybe I've got a third coming if I win the bet. But not nervous whatsoever because it's like the downside is me losing the bet. And if I lose the bet, I lose a $300 to $1,000 rocket case. And all my booster boxes, all my allocations are worth 5, 6, who knows, 7 figures more in that scenario. So it's like, it's financially better for my net worth if I lose the bet, which is kind of like, it's kind of why I made the bet to an extent. I made the bet with James. Somewhere around here, I have a PSA 10 Unlimited Pikachu. I made the bet with James that PSA grading wouldn't go under $10 by some certain date, by 2023, January 1st, 2023, whatever it was. That was a while ago now. I would have been better off financially in some regards. That one's more complex, I think. They're both fairly complex as far as like every aspect of my business, how if it would have been better or worse. But me winning that bet against James gave me a $50 Pokemon card, and it cost me tens of thousands of dollars more in grading than had I lost and grading went to $9. So it's kind of like an anti-bet in a way. It's like I'm hedging my bet because if I lose, I win more than if I win, if that makes sense. Is Metazoo eBay on Saturday still going? Sky was in here earlier. I don't think he went live last Saturday. I think it's been a couple Saturdays that he hasn't gone. They were just kind of rough. I think with Torrential coming out, Torrential comes out on the 1st. I gotta talk with Sky next week for sure, both about Metazoo, about potentially being more Pokemon working in there as well. But yeah, Sky, shoot me a DM. We will sort that out hopefully soon. Torrential, whether Sky is streaming it release weekend or not, he has a lot coming to him. He has a lot going directly to him. And yeah, so I'm excited for Torrential Tides. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen. What is low amount of packs? 2K. Oh no, we do not have 2,000 packs. I haven't even totaled the numbers yet. I have I wrote notes. I wrote notes on a piece of cardboard. One of the mini on the other side of this mini tin display thing, I have a list of everything I stocked in PK's dad's truck. And it's like, man, 72, 360. I sent other stuff too, because it's like I might as well save on the UPS fees. But like Black Bolt and White Flare, man, a 90. I didn't send him 1,000 packs. I did not send PK 1,000 packs of each set, I don't believe, on Thursday, because I didn't have them. That was everything I had. So very, very low amount, like a bad low amount. PK, Ponga both did buy They bought some from Hills. They bought some from eBay. They bought some from P Football Pete. They bought some from various places because I knew I was getting little, but I got even less than the little that I thought I was getting because some was late, and some still hasn't showed up to me. It's release night. Some has not showed up to me yet. Some is coming next week to me, and that is not fun. That is not good. Gray felt hat is now $1,100. I should have diamond handed. I should have had that case still sealed. Allocations were really, really bad. Yeah, I think PK had good takes in conversation on the autos. No. So this is one thing that I think is really interesting. People will say, like, people will say, oh, XYZ, this person is pumping this item because they have so many. It's like, no, sometimes that's true. Sometimes people buy things they don't give a crap about so that they can pump them and then dump them. But most times what happens is like, hey, I really like a certain item. So I go out and buy a bunch of it. And what I do on this channel is like, if I'm doing business in something, I'm talking about it. I'm talking about 151. I've been talking about 151. I put it in S tier of my recent top 5 investments of July video. Things that I'm actually buying. I'm not pumping 151. I'm telling you that I'm buying a lot, and I'm buying a lot because I like it, because I think it's going to do well. So, like, I don't poo-poo on autos because I don't like them. Sorry, because I don't have them. I poo-poo on autos because I don't like them, and that's why I don't have them. Like, I'm not just trying to, like, tank something that I don't have because I don't have it. I'm just talking negatively on something that I don't like, and that's why I don't have it. Like, I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm saying it in a really odd way, but I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm naturally going to talk more positively about things that I have because I like them, and things that I like, I buy. So yes, I will talk positively about what I have, and I will talk negatively about things that I don't have. And some very not intelligent people, and I'm not saying this about you, Fat Belly, but like, that happens so much in YouTube. It's like, oh, this person's just pumping this and whatever. That's just the way that it works. I'm going to have more of what I like. I'm going to have less of what I don't like. That is just the inherent way that it works. And people can't wrap their minds around that, and or people just want to be, like, they understand it intellectually, but they just want to be a victim. They just want to be dramatic. Talk about drama. We got Mr. Bradgy cards. Zara Lurking says, Dan Eco says, hi. Hello. Question, how much does a channel your size or of 10K subs make very broadly? It varies a ton. I'm very open to sharing that. Again, this is a choose your own adventure. Ask any questions. I can't say I will answer every question. I will answer most of them though. There's very few times that I do not answer a question in its entirety. So I'm going to pull up my analytics as we speak. I probably won't put them on screen. I guess you just have to trust me a little bit. But I made a video. It was hilarious, the timing of the video that I made. I searched my YouTube history. I pulled up all the back end. I pulled up all the back end things. And at the time that I did it, I made a video. Let me go to my Social Blade quick. I made a video and I looked at my Social Blade and I looked at my YouTube back end. So I looked at the Social Blade estimates versus what I actually get. Let me search myself on Social Blade. At the time, I had like 420,069 views. Like, I had a meme number worth of views to the dot. And why is, I don't know if Social Blade knows me anymore. Here we go. It found me. Catch 'em all collectibles. So I have over 1 million views now. I didn't even know that. I have 7,560 subscribers. I have 1.196 million views. That's crazy. 730 videos. According to Social Blade, they estimate that I make $12 to $186 every month. And if I go to my, I'm terrible at doing this on the computer because I never do revenue. I made $231.56. So if you look at Social Blade estimates me low. I actually make more than that. So in June I made $350, in May I made $300, in April I made $240, February I made 295. I think the biggest month I ever had was like 400 and something bucks, a little over 400 bucks. Yeah, back in December of 2024 when I was getting like 200 live viewers every video. So, but some people with the same amount of subscribers and the same amount of views might make 10% of that. It all depends on like your what's it called? CTR click through rate, but your CPM, RPM, revenue per milli, something like that. Revenue per 1,000 views. It depends on how many ads you put it in. It depends on how many people watch your ads entirely and all that stuff and click them. But I think I have a pretty high CPM in like the finance Pokemon business space, generally speaking. So yeah, it's not nothing, but it's not like enough to live off of by any stretch. Oh wait, you said Echo. Is that Echo? Are you hearing about Echo? I did listen to the Echo Alex live earlier. I would do a live with Echo and Alex. I don't really do them on my own channel. I have Pokeflips, and that's usually where I do all the like guest stuff. I do it with Nick every other week, and then every other Pokeflip. So once a month approximately, we have guests. But yeah, I enjoy talking with other people. I think I'm. Let me get into the why here. I think I'm a bad interviewer. Like I don't do it that much, and on Pokeflips, we lean on the chat. We lean on the chat on Pokeflips to do our interviewing. I just don't think I'm great at it. I genuinely don't think I'm that great at much of YouTube. But I don't want to like host people on my channel, have people on as a guest. One, it's like time consuming. It's kind of like tedious to set it up. Some amount of people are gonna fall through. That's gonna kind of be an annoyance and whatever. But I like going on other people's channels. I like being interviewed. Whether I'm being interviewed or whether we're just like hanging out, leaning on the live chat, interacting with the live chat. I like making content, going live, but I'm a bad interviewer. So yeah, I don't think I've ever said no to anyone. I say that kind of carefully because like at some point I'll probably have to say no to somebody, either time or whatever other things. But I don't think I've ever said no to anybody. Hey Dan, do you want to come on my channel for a live stream, for a pre-recorded video, for a podcast, whatever? I've always done it and I've always enjoyed it. So yeah, all that to say, like, if they reach out, I would definitely say yes. And maybe I think Echo said something about wanting to come on Pokeflips too. I think we've had him on. I'm terrible. My memory's terrible. I'm gonna Google it really quickly. I want to say we had Echo on Pokeflips, but maybe we haven't. Maybe we haven't. I Googled it really quickly and I don't see it coming up. Mountain Valley Collectibles says write-offs are all about showing the least amount of profit as possible. Write-offs are still money out the door though, either way. I used to work in a company where I worked on one of our less profitable lines, but it was like the way that I described it is like I worked in I made the car mats. So we gave away the car mats for free when we sold a car. One of the products that I was in charge of was like an ancillary product. We made no money on it. And some of the dummies that I used to work with would be like, oh, it's a write-off. So we don't make money, but we write it off so then we make money. And I'm like, no, we are making a loss leader. We're making the car mats that we give away. So we lose money. Certain car dealerships will lose money on the free inspections, on the free car washes, on the free car mats. They're losing money on those so that they can make money on selling the car. So they can make money on the return customers. And but people I used to work with would be like, no, we lose money, but we write it off and then we make money. So it's like that joke, that meme. Oh yeah, I lose money. When I grade cards, I lose money on each individual one, but I make up for it in scale. No, if each unit operation loses money and you do 1 million of that unit operation, you're losing just more money. Unless you scale your way into lower costs, lower grading fees, lower selling fees, then that can actually be a thing. I'm not doing Kansas City CollectCon. I am I am buying prismatic packs. I don't have a good handle on how many I have and how many I need. So every Monday, I do what I call the hot buy list. I was traveling last Monday, so I did not have a hot buy list. If you go to my website, I will post a quick link to it. If you go to my website, even when I'm traveling, my buy list is always up. My buy list is always up. But right now it says pause for travel. But if you scroll down though, all the set prices are still there. So prismatic, it shows right now I'm paying 80%. I'm paying $8.10 a pack for prismatic. Monday though, if I really need it, I might be paying $9 a pack for prismatic. I might be paying $8.50. I don't know. I don't know the live to the minute amount of packs that I have. So what I'm saying is, like, the website's there, but also stay tuned for Monday. Monday I will have an updated hot buy list, and it's likely Black Bolt and White Flare will be on there. It's potential prismatic might be on there. I know PK was fairly low on it, but other than that, evolving is always on there. Certain sets are like always on there. 151 might be on there as well. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I feel like Dan and technical difficulties name a more iconic duo. I feel like overall I do fairly well, but maybe that's just copium. Maybe I don't at all. I feel like relative to people with much higher speed internet connections, I feel like I see a lot more technical difficulties out there in the space than I personally have. Shout out to Ethernet cables. Get some Cat 5e at minimum, Cat 6e. Get some of that hardwired internet you need to have. But a lot of people just doing Wi-Fi off their laptops or something. I don't understand it. But anyways, let me continue on from there. Metazoo set 2. Let's go. Torrential Tides. Timmy says, yes, Destined is getting reprint, but will booster boxes? If so, how much are needed to get them to 200? I don't even think a 2-pack Costco booster box bundle could get them to less than 200 right now. I might be wrong. Always know that I might be wrong as I say this. I'm not trying to say it as a certainty. I'm not guaranteeing this by any stretch of the imagination. But every set in Pokemon's history has been available per pack under MSRP through some SKU. Maybe it won't be boxes. Maybe it won't be ETBs. But the bet I made with Retro was that packs will be widely available under MSRP through some SKU. Poster collections or tins or whatever it may be. I don't know. I truly think it will happen. People are like, oh, Dan, Destined is going up. You lost. I can't believe you lost already. What are we doing? I've already made the videos, and I'm not saying you, Timmy, but like Vivid, Roaring Skies, sets have done this before, and I know Destined is not Vivid, Destined is not Roaring Skies, blah 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 blah. All the same things. I've been quoted. There are timestamped. There is video evidence timestamped to the date and time. I've said I called Destined. I didn't call it, but like I forecasted. I think Destined will first go above 300. It's a better set than Journey. Journey's at like 250 or whatever the hell it's at. So like I literally called for Destined to go first above 300 and then below 200. Not even only below 200, but further below MSRP. Maybe not the boxes. Maybe boxes will bottom at 180. I could see that happening. And ETBs being $47.99 or something. Or maybe it won't be ETBs. Maybe it'll be booster bundles. Booster bundles would have to be, what's MSRP of a booster bundle? $32.99 or something? Something, I think. I'm quite confident. People are like already say, oh no, it didn't happen yet, so it can't happen. Price is going up, so it can only go up from here because it's only gone up. No, like, no. There's a lot of history that shows that it can go up before it goes down. 2 years is a long time. 2 years is a long time for Pokemon to get a handle on it. Maybe they won't, but I think they will. And I will ask me on a live stream every other week. Every week between Pokeflips and between this. Ask me every week between now and 2027, July 2027. If I haven't won the bet by July of 2027, I will probably admit defeat because Destin will be over 2 years old. The block will be rotating out. It will be likely out of print, whatever. And I will send my case to Retro, and I will apologize to YouTube. I'll play the clip from Happy Gilmore. I'll say I'm dumb and you're smart. I'm not very good looking and you're very attractive. And that whole, like, when the Medizu died, I played that clip from Happy Gilmore. I thought that was funny. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Place your bets. Let the chips fall where they may. I was definitely jamming out to the Kids About Radio. I don't think I ever said I wasn't. I definitely was and am every time. I found out you can send 2, 3, 4 boxes, cases to Proby, and they will sell the auction as a lot. Smart move to get over $1,000 and get 95%. Have you ever done this? Cases, you only need one. But yes, I have, I don't like loose boxes. I have 2 loose Destined Rivals behind me right here. If I had 4 of them, I could send them to Probstein, and I could group them together, and I could just leave a note and say, like, sell these 4 together. Probstein paying out 95% on sealed is insane. I have sent, not every week, but I have had active auctions at Probstein every day all year. I'm sending them multiple boxes a week on average. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes I'm off for the whole week, and I did still send one this week. But I sell a lot of sealed through Probstein, absolutely. Shorting PSA grading fees. Tony, King of the Ozone, says, question, what do you think about LGS fighting for supply? Do you think they'll have to do more than the traditional 70% they offer? I think many already are, but it all depends. It all depends. And nice thing about it is, like, they have that lever they can pull. They if they've historically paid 60%, if and when week over week, month over month, they're just not getting enough, raise it to 75%, raise it to 80%. That is literally what my hot buy list is. My hot buy list is, like, I will pay 70% for anything all the time, pretty much. And 5 years ago, if I was doing a live stream operation 5 years ago, well, 5 years ago was another boom. Maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I might have been paying 60% as a floor, or 65% as a floor. Like, some people, I think, are getting too cushy in the whole, like, send to Probstein, get 95%, his auctions go for full market anyways. Sell to Dan on his hot buy list for 85, 90%. Alex is paying 90%, Dan's paying 90%. All these people are... If the market turns, when the market turns, in my opinion, the offers will start to go down. My hot buy list might become the things that I'm paying 75% on, and my standard rate might be 70%. It might be 65%. Like, a lot of people are very confidently saying we'll never see sub $100 booster boxes again, and this and that and the other thing, and I don't agree. But, like, again, we'll see what happens. I'm not, like, trying to die on this hill. I'm not telling people ever. I'm not telling people, don't buy Destined, I guarantee it's going under MSRP. There's a lot of those channels out there that are saying, just wait, don't pay the scout. I'm not doing that. I never have, never will. I've said, like, I think this price will do XYZ, go up, go down, go left, go right, whatever. And because of that, I'm doing XYZ. I will never tell you, panic sell all this, panic sell all that. It's like if you have a PC ETB stamped Flutter main the week that it sold for $2,000, or a Greninja Gold Star PSA 10 that maybe sold for $1,000, or maybe it was 600, or maybe it was 800, whatever it was. It's like, I wouldn't say you have to sell those now or you're stupid. Those are guaranteed going down. I would say, like, if I had any, I would sell them all because of opportunity cost, because of XYZ, because of this, because of that. But I never tell people what to do. Never. eBay Medizu Saturdays. We did a couple. So it started originally back in, I forget when we did the first one, Skya. When Skya did the first one, but Skya did Medizu base set in May, over a month after release. And it went well. The first couple went well, but they started out here and then went down from there. So then we paused the Fanatics Mezzu live streams. And then we're like, hey, we've got eBay. Let's try eBay. And the first one went here. And then it kind of went down from there. But that's with one set. All we have is Mezzu base set right now. With Torrential Tides coming out, we are going to be, and again, Sky, we really need to talk next week about the singles. We need to talk about the eBay singles listings. We need to talk about the streaming and what you have time for and what you don't have time for if you don't have time for some of it. But yeah, let's get in touch. And then we'll probably wait a week or two of Torrential Tides being out, and then we'll go for the Pokemon stuff, expanding that a little bit. I believe it's, let me verify. I believe it's August 1st though. Yes, August 1st, Torrential Tides release date. But yeah, let me continue on. They just want to be a victim. Very true. Pokemon YouTube brokies have an affinity for victimhood. LMAO. Oh yeah, people don't like hearing it, but it's a common trait of humanity that I'm glad I don't really have. Many people seek outrage. Many people seek, like, everyone is the hero of their own story. And a lot of people just build up their own boogeymen. They build up their own evil that they overcome. Like, I'm here in spite of all these things that I had to overcome. It's like people get really big on in spite of eBay being out to get, like I could have been very different. And I'm glad I wasn't. When Troll and Toad Evo died, when Troll and Toad Evo went away, I like Troll and Toad Evo. I had big plans for them. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. I'm a victim of big bad Troll and Toad. And I could have just sat with my arms crossed, and I could have sat in the corner, and I could have kicked over the table, and I'm not playing anymore. And some people do that. Some people get like, big bad eBay was out to get me. They gave me the eBay vault. They showed me the light of what it could have been, what I could have had. And then they took it away from me. And I'm not playing anymore. And I've made some big pivots. I didn't want to make them. I was really comfortable where I was at with Troll and Toad. And if Troll and Toad existed today, the way that it did back then, I would be doing 10 million a year through Troll and Toad. If they had things that I didn't even talk about that were going on there, things that I was planning on doing, conversations that I had with people high up there, man, that could have been insane. Would I still be live streaming alongside of it? Maybe. I don't know. But so it's not like I'm saying I'm mad that stuff happened. Like, I didn't want it to happen when it did happen, but I got up and I adapted and I pivoted from there. I didn't take like a victim mentality. I didn't cry about it. I just like, hey, this happened and I'm gonna pivot from there. And am I in a better place today because of all that happening? Maybe. Doesn't matter. But I'm happy to be doing what I was doing then. I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing now. And neither one's inherently better or worse, and I'm not a victim of anyone. It just all happened. It all is. It all is, and I just do what I do to adapt when new challenges present themselves or new opportunities. How dare this thing everyone wants, including myself, be expensive? Going back to the meme comparison that I make, the Taylor Swift concert tickets. It's like, yeah, it is what it is. I do like the round tables. I do like the round tables as well. Again, I don't think I'm a good facilitator of those things. A lot of my favorite content, I think, I've been on live streams with like a dozen people. There's a limit. I think I had a live stream on this channel with a dozen people before, recapping one of the Collecticons. Was it Denver Collecticon? I can't remember which one. But I always have a good time with them. But like, 4 is a lot already. 4 becomes a lot. You don't hear from everyone as much. And I think 2's like the sweet spot. I think 2's a really good number. 3 and 4 can be fine as well though too. But I don't think I'm a good facilitator of all that. I miss some of the old content that used to be out there, with people who were really good at facilitating all that. Grimer says go birds. Shout out to Spat. Yeah, there's always nuance. There's always like a lot of context around things. But the amount of times that people would just say it's a write-off. It's a write-off, so we lose money to make money because we write it off, and then it just magically, and yeah, it wait, people are selling packs. Shout out to Mason of Cardinal Gaming of CNA Games. Mason, unfortunately, was not in New Jersey, but I did have the pleasure of sitting around a couple various tables in New Jersey with much of the CNA Games Cardinal operation. And we had some lengthy conversations around streaming and all the various business in the Pokemon space. And yeah, I wish you were there, Mason. It was a good time. But I'm sure I will. I think I'll see you in Charlotte, right? I think the whole team is going to Charlotte because some of you are focused around there. So looking forward to seeing you all there. Krabby's Card says, did you catch Rudy's latest Pokemon video? He had some weird hot takes. He couldn't understand Paldea being more than Silver Tempest. I have a really long backlog right now. So when I got back, between Thursday and Wednesday, well, between Thursday and Thursday, actually, because I got back Wednesday at 1 a.m., I consumed like 2 hours of YouTube content because I did, I probably worked 5 or 6 hours between Sunday and Tuesday night, primarily. After the kids and wife went to bed, I got the laptop out and I started doing consignor payouts and paying out for packs that PK and Ponga had received and stuff. So while doing that, I played 2x YouTube in the background like I normally do. So I guess when I say it was a few hours worth, I think there was one finance podcast that I listened to in that time frame as well, but it was probably like 4 hours of content that I listened to 2x, so condensed into 2 hours. But anyways, my YouTube backlog is massive. It is going to, a lot of it's just going to get wiped. My primary objective when I got back, funny as it is, I am trying to diminish the amount of content I listen to. Rudy is like, not every Rudy video, but a lot of his videos are like A tier. They're not the first thing that I go to, but they're up there. My S tier content, the first backlog that I had to consume today, all of what I listened to and watched today, was almost all RuneScape content. I missed a couple Then We Fights from Lincoln Rarg. I missed a couple A Cold One Hardcore Ironman updates. Shout out to Rakesy. I missed one of his Hardcore Ironman update videos. Coxie, he had a new Funny Feelings drop today, so I had to watch that. So I still consume a lot of Pokemon YouTube content, but I'm trying to consciously make it less. I enjoy it, but I think I get more entertainment. I get entertainment out of it. I like keeping up with what like my friends in the space are doing. I don't really read forums or Pokebeats or anything a lot, so I use it to like stay attuned to what's going on in the market as well. Because I'm not directly on the front lines. I don't pack orders. I don't sell to the end consumer. So listening to Pokemon podcasts, I see as like a requirement to some extent. I'll never drop it to zero. But if I'm trying to be entertained, I can be more entertained watching barbecue content or RuneScape content or just like watching South Park videos that are episodes that I've not seen before. And then if I want to be educated, there's so much more in the finance space that I can get value out of being educated on. Couple hours a week being brought up to date on happenings in Pokemon for sure. But beyond that, there's like so much more for me to learn in the finance space. And then just general curiosities. Veritasium is one that I listen to almost every video they put out. Number File is a big one I listen to most videos they put out. But that's just like engineering, science-y, mathematical brain type curiosities and interesting things. Anyways, yes, you can bundle items with Probstein, and you can get 95% payout. Echo and Alex were just talking about that. That is one that I listened to today. Echo and Alex were just talking about it, but the same supplier of Alex's is also a supplier of mine that isn't getting a whole lot of product lately, but he was degenning. He was sending a lot of stuff from international. He was selling 600 pack lots, 400 pack lots, 900 pack lots, whatever the numbers were. I don't remember whatever the optimal numbers were. But if you search Probstein and you just search for Pokemon booster packs and you look at the 90-day sold, a lot of them were coming from one guy who was supplying myself and Alex. And he was, instead of selling single packs or 100 packs and selling them for $500 and netting out 85-90%, whatever it is, he was selling like 400 pack lots for a few $1,000s of Fusion Strike and whatever. And he was netting 95%. And he was doing geographical arbitrage, selling to Alex, selling to me, selling through Probstein, and doing really well. But I think that kind of ran out. I appreciate, like, sometimes I meme on certain people in chat. Sometimes I meme on people like it's a choose your own adventure, and some people just choose to, like, man, Dan, this live sucks. Like, what are you talking about? How am I gonna make any money from what you're saying? It's like, ask me questions. It is a choose your own adventure, and you're choosing to be upset that you don't like the content. Like, whatever. And if you don't like Q&A content, I guess I can't fix that. But, like, ask me the questions you want answers to, and I will talk about whatever. A lot of times we get to talking about meat or RuneScape. I do. Once I end this live stream, I'm going to trim a brisket. I have a 19-pound brisket. I did make an 18 or 19-pound brisket for Beerski Palooza 2 in New Jersey. I made a brisket. I made pork belly burnt ends. I made pulled pork, and I made dino ribs. I made like an obscene amount of food for like 12 to 15 people. I'm hosting a party Sunday of like 60 people, probably 60, maybe 70 people. I don't even know how many people it's going to be. And I'm making like slightly less meat overall. It was an obscene amount, but like Ponga said he wanted dino ribs, and so I did that. I wanted to do brisket, so I did that. I did pulled pork as like a crowd pleaser. I had a pork belly in my freezer, so I'm like, I'll make burnt ends too. I'm still working on my burnt ends recipe. But anyways, after this live stream, I'm seasoning up, trimming a brisket, seasoning it, and I am seasoning up some. They only had half pork shoulder halves, so I have 2 pork shoulder halves that I'm doing, and then I'm also doing like hot dogs and hamburgers too. Anyways, continuing on. A lot of people do need a villain, and it's kind of weird in my opinion. A lot of people need to be like, I think a lot of people need to excuse why they didn't get where they wanted to get to, why they didn't get as far as they could have, because whoever's in the White House was holding me back, because this person was holding me back. Or they do that one of 2 ways. They do like my guy, and again, I'm not political at all. I feel like I've excelled whether the White House was red or blue at the time. A lot of people will be like, man, if only this person had won, everything would be better and I'd be doing great, and I'm doing bad because of that. A lot of people go to politics. A lot of people go to, another thing is like, everyone who's doing better than me had a silver spoon in their mouth. They're born on third base. They're this, that, and the other thing. Like again, I'm not ashamed of my past whatsoever. I had my dad on sitting next to me. If you asked me, Dan, did your parents pay for your college? I will give you the gray area, nuance. I will give you the full recap of exactly what they paid for and what they didn't pay for and how much skin I had in the game. I've already done it. It wouldn't be my first time answering the question. But some people get really weird of like, he had more than me, so that's why she had more than me. That's why they're more successful. That's why I'm not more successful. People get super weird about that. And yeah, it's like victimhood. They're doing better because they had more, or I'm doing worse because of this external force that's keeping me down. They're keeping me down. It's just weird. I don't like it. I hope I don't instill any of those thoughts or feelings into my kids. I'm doing my best to not. personal responsibility is something that many people are that's holding them back, not taking personal responsibility for their outcomes and their actions and their all that stuff. Going back to the whole that like 6-month period, I forget what it was, like a year ago, a year and a half ago, the American dream is dead and this and that, and it's like, no, not at all. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Hey, 99 people watching. We got up there. Like I said, Brad said something about the big fall off, but high double digits, low triple digits. That's about where I've been for a while, and I think it's a good number. I've actually been thinking lately. It's like 7,560 subscribers. 10,000 is a nice number. Will I ever get there? Do I pack it up? Do I delete the channel at 10,000 subscribers? I've always described myself as antiviral Dan. I mean, 10,000, that's a big number. If I add a 5th digit to this number, I almost feel like I need to delete the channel out of principle, because that's borderline to being like too big, too mainstream, too viral. So, but yeah, anyways, how do you feel about YouTube's 3 times playback feature? Who's using it other than the robots? I do have YouTube Premium. I believe that's only on mobile, so I can't do it on desktop. But I am not allowing myself to go over 2x. If I watched my own content, I could probably 3x it. That said, I do. So in VLC Media Player, which is the media player that I use on my computer, when I'm uploading my video, I'm also usually timestamping it too. So I don't timestamp it from within YouTube usually. While I'm uploading, as long as I'm free, then sometimes I upload and then I go to bed. So I do it the next day. But I usually timestamp. I will 3 to 4x my video within VLC. And then I'll try to, like, okay, I talked about PSA timestamp. I talked about eBay timestamp. Like, I don't listen to the whole video in its totality. I used to. I used to listen to the video on like 1x, and I used to make the timestamps, and like, I can't believe I did that. Now I go 3, 4x, and I jump through, and it's like, okay. Especially if I do the PowerPoints, I just go like slide. I timestamp them very quickly. Then if you still had your chemical engineer job and never got the Pokemon full time, would there be a small part of you that would still collect on the side for the joy of it? I had this back and forth with Nick on Pokeflips on last Thursday. I still collect. I just yesterday, last night we opened Black Bolt and White Flare. We only opened 3 packs each. I told my kids, it's like, I'm trying to instill in them the value of $1. When we went to Maury's Pier, when we went to Chuck E. Cheese, when we went to, like, for the whole vacation, they had a certain budget. They had a certain allowance. And I try to stress to them, like, you can use your amount of money, and you could, like, they walk into the gift shop. In the first gift shop we're in, they're like, I want that. I want that. And I try to teach them, like, shout out to the Afford Anything podcast. You can kind of have almost anything you want. Almost anything individually. But you can't have everything. My kids have way too many toys. They have a lot of toys. They can have almost any individual toy they want. If they just want one, they would probably get it for their birthday or Christmas or whatever. But if they want 100 of them, they can't. It's like, these things cost money and you gotta choose. And when we opened the packs, my son asked, he's like, hey, these are the new sets. Like, how expensive are they? I'm like, I'm buying these actively for $8.50 a pack. We opened 24 packs amongst us. We opened $200 worth of packs. And doing the, like, I could see the gears turning in his head. He's looking at what we opened and he's like, $200 for this? It's like thinking back in his mind, I hope this is happening. I hope that he was thinking back to, like, we were on Maury's Pier and we were playing games and we played some duck game. And my daughter's luck with the duck games is actually insane. She, like, the ducks, it was interesting. They used to have at the field days, they'd Sharpie on the bottom. 1 point, 2 point, 5 points, whatever. You get to pull 3 ducks and you need to pull like 76 points worth of ducks to get to get a big prize. The biggest ducks, I think there's one 50-point duck in the whole pond. But the way it works now is like there's nothing on the bottom. They scan it. They scan it on a little scanner, and it tells you how many they're worth. We saw kids going 5 points, 5 points, 5 points. You got 15 points. 0 to 25 points was a small prize. Most kids were getting small prize, small prize, small prize. Some of them were getting like, okay, that duck was 20. Now you got up into the 30-point tier. Now you got a medium prize. My daughter, first one comes out, 25. So she's already getting a medium prize. Next duck, 20. Next duck, 25 again. Or maybe it was, whatever it was. Maybe it was a 20, a 25, and a 30. But anyways, she was 1 point away from choice prize. And the way they do it, you can pay $5 again. She can pick 3 more ducks. So I paid $5 more. She was guaranteed to get a choice prize. It was a stuffed animal you could probably buy on Amazon or whatever for like $20. We got it for 10. We won, and we got it like half price. Their cost was probably still $5 with the tens of thousands of stuffies they buy every year. But anyways, all this rant to say, I hope my son was thinking back to like, we spent $50 playing games at Morris Pier. And I told him like, we could spend $50 playing games and we could gamble. We could gamble on winning or not winning. Or we could go to the gift shop and you could guaranteed get something for your money. And what they did was a blended thing. I gave them some budget to play games and gamble with. They use some of their own money for games too. They use some of their own money for gift shops, whatever it ended up being. But I think a lot of people, and this is me wanting to get more into making finance content, a lot of people in life just mindlessly swipe their credit card. I was gonna take, I have my wallet right here. I was gonna take my credit card on my wallet and show it, and I'm like, that's a bad idea, Dan. What are you doing? I'll show the wrong side and I'll show my number, show my whole government name. But anyways, a lot of people, and there's studies out there. I've actually listened to hour-long podcasts about the separation. I'll show you this one. You can take the serial numbers off it if you want. When you, and I was having this conversation with my wife recently, when you have this in your hand, and when you put this down at a restaurant for your bill, psychologically, it is more painful to like physically, at least for most people. Maybe it's less of a Gen Z thing. Maybe it's less of a, because like a lot of them haven't even, there are probably people that are 25 years old that have like never held a $100 bill and they spend 50 grand a year. It's all just digital. It's Zelle, it's PayPal, or it's Zelle, PayPal, it's whatever it may be. There's a lot of people I know that haven't written a check in their life. But anyways, there's a big separation between swiping the plastic and paying 45 days later and actually having the money leave your hands in that instance. And that's something that I'm like, I want my kids to know that like when we spend this on X, we can't spend it on Y. You only have a certain amount. And a lot of adults don't know that. A lot of adults will just swipe the card, swipe the card, swipe the card, and then go back to the whole victim thing. At the end of the day, it's like, taxes are too damn high, and this is that, and again, something else external to them is holding them back. They have some reason as to why they have no money, and they're not saying the reason is them swiping the card. Maybe they, again, buying too many Pokemon cards, going out to eat too much, whatever it may be. And I'm not the whole, like, can't buy avocado toast, can't have this, can't have that. I'm all for conscious spending. Every time you swipe the card, every time you click the button, online, you're not even swiping the card. Online, you're clicking a button. I'm all for buy whatever the hell you want, but buy what brings you the most value. It's like, if you want to exchange this for 10 pieces of avocado toast, or if you want to exchange this for half a booster box, a third of a booster box, like, consciously do it and own it. Own it as an adult. Own it as an adult, and don't blame anyone else for where you end up financially. Long rant on that conversation. Somehow that all spawned from collecting, but I open every new set as it comes out. I'm largely priced out of cards, but I buy Satan Cuties all the time. I buy new canvases. I buy, like, I'm engaging. I'm collecting in the space a lot. I find for my $100, I could open a third of that box. I could open 12 packs. For $100, I could buy, what does this go for? This is probably over $100. I don't even know. I don't even know what I could buy for $100 anymore. But like, what I value more than any of the slabs that are $100, what I value more than 12 packs for $100. I bought let me show one of the pictures that I have. We probably spent $100 rating binders. We were rating $1 to $5 binders for my son, for my daughter, and we probably spent $100 on cards that were actually worth 50. But I got more value in that my kids enjoyed the process. Like, I know when I'm flipping through a 50-cent binder or a dollar binder, it's like, I know I have these cards at home. Some of them, not all of them, but I have some of these at home. I have some of these cards at home. I could get these cards way cheaper. Like, here's some of the, on the hotel bed, here's some of the cards we picked up for my son's binder. Some of these, like, we were probably paying $1 for cards that are 50 cents on TCG Player. I know how to source these cards. I know where to get them. But my son, he enjoys flipping through the binders. He has a Pokédex binder that he's building, and me putting any amount of money, if I had to put $50, $100, $1,000 into the hobby, me putting that money into my kids' binders brings me more than it would buying a slab for me in every aspect imaginable. And if you go further, like Mario Pikachu, cool card. Gold Star anything, cool card. Would I rather buy those, or would I rather, like, put a new deck on my house? Or would I rather go on an extra vacation with my family for a week long? We just went on a week-long vacation. We went to Maury's Pier and Chuck E. Cheese. We ate out every meal. We went to all over the place. All over the place. And Diggerland. And we spent like we weren't trying to pinch pennies anywhere. And we spent between $1,000 and $2,000. And I know that is spent and it's consumed and it's gone forever. But the memories aren't. And even though if I buy a Great Felt hat, or if I buy a whatever it may be, that can go up. And that's an asset, and that's whatever. I don't value it as much. I don't value that stuff as much as the market does. I do value travel. I do value the experiences, the stuff my kids are making and getting. And yeah, that's why I collect a lot, but I don't collect cards. Just let Dan rant. I would say I'm fully recovered at this point. I slept in a couple times. I'm back on my workout regimen that was paused. I'm trying to dunk by Charlotte, but it's not gonna happen. CTR and PokeRev went Saturday, but I only went Sunday. PokePlumber only went Saturday too, and I only went Sunday. I actually met very, very briefly. They probably wouldn't remember, but I met CTR and PokeRev on Thursday or Friday at Washington, D.C. Worlds in somebody's hotel room. I forget who. But they were leaving early that event. I probably said a quick hi to one of them, or maybe both of them together. But yeah, I didn't get to see them Saturday. If I wanted to buy some sealed from you directly, can I? I get this question fairly regularly. I just don't do it. It's not worthwhile. I tell people this every time. I can't beat P Football Pete. I can't beat low list on eBay TCG Player. I never can. I never will. I mean, feasibly I could, probably. I don't want to. I won't beat them. I won't beat them. So it's not a can't, it's a won't. It's just not worthwhile. It's not worth my time. And I've done favors for like friends at times before, and then I've gotten like the box has a soft corner. The box has the shrink wrap is a little. I by rule I don't anymore. I say that, and there might be a listener out there who's like, hey, Dan did this for me. Ponga, PK might have a couple fringe benefits that they get. If they desire a product that I'm shipping to them anyway. Nice thing about Ponga is like, I give him a case of everything. He buys it at like a good price. I'm sending him a bunch of cases anyways. So like, I don't send him one and he says like, ooh, this one's kind of yucky looking. I send him 10 and he picks his favorite, whatever it may be. So yeah, those are the ranty reasons why I don't do it. What YouTube finance channels do you watch? I I let the algorithm, I let the homepage feed me some, but like I love the iced coffee hour. I really like. I used to watch Graham Stephan a little bit. I really like the iced coffee hour podcast. I don't watch them all by any stretch of the imagination, but occasionally they get recommended. I don't even subscribe. Occasionally they get recommended. Occasionally they're not recommended for a month or two. So I go to the channel and I'm like, oh, that one looks interesting. That one looks interesting. I recently watched from like a year ago with oh man, what's his name? I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Michael Saylor talking about Bitcoin and stuff about a year ago. And so iced coffee hour is one. I Afford Anything podcast I'm a big fan of. There's also one that Joe Salsihai, the guy who does it with Paula Pant, he has his own thing. Stacking Benjamins, I believe he calls it. I listen to some of those. I listen to George Tamil, I believe it is. He is a employee of Dave Ramsey. And I watch some of his stuff. I watch a little bit of there's a couple new financial independence ones that I was turned on to. Two Sides of Fi, I like those guys. Then there's a couple other retire early 500K. There's a couple that I sub to that I don't even remember their names that I kind of like, but that's a long list to start with. Old School RuneScape. The OSRS podcast needs more pods. I miss the OSRS pods. I think that's the one that Tayflosion recently told me that that Rixie was on that I didn't even know existed. But I've heard of Rixie for a while, and I didn't realize he was into Pokemon. So during the Deadman All Stars, Solo Mission is my favorite RuneScape content creator. He drafted Rixie, and so I was watching a bunch of content involving Rixie because I was following the Solo Mission snakes, and I ended up talking with him a little bit. I ended up talking with him a little bit on Instagram. He actually reached out. He watches some of the content, which was interesting. And so I've been watching some of his more. And I just, yeah, I'd not really been exposed to him before, but I'm not only watching it because he's into Pokemon. I started watching it because he was with Solo. And then it was funny because like I commented on one of his videos, and then I think he DM'd me and was like, hey, I saw you I commented in one of his live streams. So he was streaming it on Kick. I was actually watching it live on Kick. And he ended up seeing my name and he messaged me, and it was just funny. And it's like I went and I looked at his backlog of YouTube videos, and I gave it a try, and I'm like, this guy watches Pokemon. I gotta give him a chance. I enjoy it. Very enjoyable. So it seems like a good guy. Rixie is a new add to the must-watch, must-follow series. And then I also follow the farmers too. I follow the farmers. I've seen the new WoW stream, the WoW streamers moving to old school. Old school RuneScape is like booming right now. They're at like all-time highs for concurrent player base, which is awesome to see. Van Gogh prices are unbelievable. Grimer says unbelievably cheap. Should I invest in Shrouded Fable loose packs? I just sent a check. So very rarely do I have consigners who want a check, or people that sell me packs that want a check. I just sent a check, and maybe the listener, maybe the person's out there. I just bought 300 packs of Shrouded Fable, I believe. It's not my favorite. If you watch my investing tier list, it was lower on the tier list, but I have it on my buy list at 70%. I'll take almost anything at 70%. Loose packs, things like that. So it's not my absolute favorite, but at a lower percentage, it moves higher up the list. So I'm not like treating it as a massive investment, but I'm happy to add most of anything at 70%. Brad says, Dan treats me like I'm a villain. Brad is always holding me back. Absolutely. Let's see. Oh no. I'm a buy and hold guy since Sword Shield. Am I stupid? Should I be churning or just let it ride? This is one that's best answered by the thing I always say. So I always say we are in the same arena of Pokemon, but we play very different games by very different rules. If you have a good 9 to 5 that you love and you enjoy and it makes really good money, like I know these people. I'm gonna describe an anecdotal person. If you like, I know people who make $300,000 at their day job, and I've done consults with people who make 300 grand at their day job, as a doctor, as a consultant, as an engineer, whatever it may be, and they like Pokemon, but they don't have time for it. Maybe they have a wife and kids, and it's like they work 80 hours a week at their job, and they unwind in their 10 hours of free time a week. They unwind with a little bit of PokeTube, and maybe they grade a couple cards, or maybe they don't have time for any of that, though. They have 2 hours a week, and I know people who just buy and hold because that's all they can do. And if they consult with me, I'll say, like, I'm not telling you to do this, but, like, look into Probstein as an outlet. Because I have some people ask me, like, hey, Dan, I've had people do a consult with me. Dan, I've got $500,000 of Pokemon product. I've never sold anything. I hear you, I hear Alex, I hear whoever talking about, like, these theoretical people, and they're like, I'm that guy. I've never sold. I don't know how to sell. And I just walk them through it. I'm like, you could sell to me. Here are my buy lists. Here's my buy rates. Here's what I'd pay. You could consign with Probstein. You could sell to Alex. You could sell all these different ways. And I talk them through all the options. And sometimes people have asked me, like, should I be churning more? I'm like, do you have 50 hours a week? Like, are you maxed on old school RuneScape? Are you playing old school RuneScape 50 hours a week? And if you're doing that and you're enjoying it and it's bringing you excess life enjoyment, like, do whatever makes you happy. But if you're playing 50 hours a week of video games that frustrate you and you don't really enjoy that much, and you feel kind of like, man, I wish I was doing something more to advance my finances and this and that. And so if you have the free time, then look into it. And I think it's reasonable for anyone, but it's very case by case. It's very, like, I don't know your circumstances. So some people are 100% buy and hold, and it's the best optimal thing for them, all things considered. Opportunity cost and life enjoyment and finances, all that stuff. It's the best. A lot of people get very, and I accuse myself of this at times, I get very to, like, looking at other people's situations through my lens. Like, I know the game I'm playing. I know what I'm optimizing for. And sometimes I've said to people, and I'm not thinking of, like, any specific instance, but I know I'm human, part human, mostly robot, but I am fallible. And there's times where I respond to a question or answer a question in a way that has too much of a Dan bias on it. I say it's crazy to not, and again, I'm making up a hypothetical, but, like, there's times where I'm maybe too strong towards, like, yeah, you should look into live streaming, you should look into grading plays, whatever, when it's not possible. It's not reasonable with their schedule, with their tolerances of whatever. Like, yeah, so long way of saying it depends on your situation, and I don't know your situation. Dan, can you give a rant or make a video on starting over from zero in Pokemon and investments, no kids, just married? Just like the answer that I just gave, it's like, I could do what I do, what I would do, but your situation is always going to be different. If we're live on YouTube right now in front of 100 people, if someone wants to be so bold and brave, if someone wants to say, Dan, here's a hypothetical. Like, I have a friend, I know a guy who makes $100,000 a year, working 50 hours a week as an engineer. He plays RuneScape for 30 hours a week. He wished he would play less. He lay out your whole scenario, and then I'll tell you not what to do. I'll tell you what I would do to try to optimize that scenario. Most people don't want to give that much levels of transparency. There's layers. So, like, YouTube is free. Patreon is $10 a month. And in Discord voice calls, instead of 100 people live, there might only be 2 or 20. That's my range. Sometimes it's as low as 2 people, me and one other person. Sometimes it's 20 people. So that's like, it costs more, but it's more private, more personalized. And then one-on-one costs the most. It's the most personalized, though. I've literally had consults where people sent me their whole balance sheet Like I just made a video on Monday. I made a video of my personal household expenses. I've had people send me their Simplify and say, Dan, I live in this state. Here are my expenses. Here's what my Pokemon business is making. Do you see any inefficiencies? If this was you, what feels off to you? What would you look deeper into? And obviously, that's massive levels of transparency that a lot of people don't want to give. But like, I need the specifics. I need that to be able to get into the proper nuance and stuff. A lot of people, and I understand this about myself. I understand this about like what most people want. Most people turn on YouTube. They want dance for me, YouTube man, entertain me. And the most suitable content for that in the finance space is I kind of like, I made one in my fashion, top 5 investments of July 2025. And I made it in 50 minutes because I gave all that nuance. Most people want that video being 8 minutes long. And they just want like, they want universals. They want 151 as the best buy for everyone, regardless of situation. And some people hear that and take that and they go buy PCETPs for $700 a piece plus tax. Will that be the best ROI? Maybe. Well, it definitely won't be better than buying it for $700 without sales tax because you have your proper paperwork and all that stuff and you're not paying sales tax on items intended for resale. But I give the nuance of like loose packs versus ETBs versus UPCs versus PCETBs and why I do what I do and it always depends. If you in your inbox right now, if you have access to somebody who runs a bot and they just botted out 10,000 151 booster bundles and you have an inside connection where you can get those for 60% of market. Even though I don't like booster bundles more than loose packs, even though I don't like booster bundles more than you, like people just want to hear bundles are the best. ETBs are the best. UPCs are the best, always. No, and Alex has talked about this before, and I had this conversation with Alex. I can't take entire responsibility for turning Alex onto Charizard UPCs when they went down. But Alex was very anti-Charizard UPC when they were like $300 a piece. And that was smart. They were double plus MSRP, and it was intelligent at the time. With hindsight, it proved like very intelligent. And I was the same way. I sold them all. I sold my whole allocation immediately. Troll and Toad Evo, rest in peace. But then they went too low, and they got reprinted and reprinted and reprinted. The same product that might have been in top 5 May, whatever year it was, they might have been in the top 5 investments of that month when they were $200 and they never should have been. But then people get in their mind cemented. Charizard UPCs, they suck. Vivid Voltage, it sucks. Like forever. Evolve these guys, it's amazing. Forever. Team Up, it's amazing. Like that's the way people, they don't have the ability to like, when prices change, and that item doesn't even have to move. Like say 151 stays $9 a pack, $10 a pack for the next year. I mean, the longer it stays that low is relative, the better it should be over time, assuming the hobby's still doing what it's doing. But like, maybe 151 at 9 a pack is better in a year because it's older, but maybe it's worse because Prismatic then is $4 a pack and Destined is $3 a pack. And like, I don't think these are going to happen, but I like 151 at 950 a lot right now. But I might like it a lot less than 6 months if other things change around it. Like, these are just the layers of nuance that you will get here and on other certain channels, but most people don't care. Most people don't want that. Most people want like, hey, YouTube man, tell me how to make money and tell me what to buy. Tell me what Admiral, E4 meme way long ago. There was a thread on E4 about crypto NFTs in the peak of the crypto NFT stuff. I have it saved on my phone somewhere. He's like, it was Admiral on E4. Shout out to him. He's like, somebody just as a meme, tell me what buttons to click to make money. Tell me what buttons to press to make money. That is most of what YouTube viewership is, or entertain me or whatever. But and the reason people do that, is because if it doesn't work, they can be a victim. The reason that people want you being me in this is the people want you, YouTube person, to tell me what to buy, is that if it doesn't work, they can be a victim and they can blame someone else. And take personal responsibility, own your actions. I see a super chat. Appreciate you. Clickbait memes. Have you been to Collecticon since first one? I went to 2 in the last 3 weeks. I went to New Jersey, in Edison, New Jersey last weekend, and then 3 weekends ago I went to Cleveland Collecticon. I don't know if that's entirely what you meant there, but counting everything, I used to have a collection. I still have it of all the I don't get these anymore though, because I don't vend. I don't vend anymore. There's so much dust on this pile. I should not have done that. There's so much dust in the air now. I'm inhaling. But now I just get wristbands because I just go as a non-vendor for like Sunday only. But I've been to Denver, maybe was the first one I went to. Denver's not a location to go to anymore. I've been to Orlando a couple times. I've been to Chicago a couple times. I've been to New Jersey a couple times. Charlotte a few times. I've been to Dallas once, Houston once. I've been to, that's probably all of them. The ones that they are regularly doing that I still haven't been to that I want to do at some point. Long Beach, Kansas City. I think those are the only 2 that I haven't done yet that they've been doing multiple times. Kansas City and Long Beach. I think I've done all the other ones. Maybe I'm missing one, but yeah. Young Playmaker says, I also don't have an LLC but want to make one. How would it work selling it when I bought the inventory prior to LLC, or just go Probstein? You do not need an LLC to be doing business in Pokemon. If you are doing business in Pokemon, if you are interacting in the space with intent to profit, you are by definition, in the eyes of the IRS, you are acting as a sole proprietor. You should be reporting all your income, whether you get a 1099 or not, but you do you. I don't care. So what you could do to more thoroughly legitimize your sole proprietorship, you could get an EIN. You could get a DBA. Some states call it a DBA. Some states call it a fictitious name. All these different states, all these different regulatory agencies call it different things. But what I did many years ago, even before predating my Pokemon involvement, when I was doing steins, when I was doing coins, I did a DBA. I did a DBA as a sole proprietor. A lot of people jump into an LLC not needing one. With a DBA as a sole proprietor, you can get a sales tax exemption. In New York, it's called a certificate of authority. Some places it's called a resale license, resale permit. I'm in New York. So in New York, it's called a certificate of authority. And that gives you the authority to collect and remit sales tax. And it also gives you the authority to be sales tax exempt when you buy items intended for resale. So the amount of investors in the space that do not have a resale permit, the ability to buy without paying sales tax, is mind-blowing. It actually pains me deep down inside. Please, please, if you are doing business in Pokemon, legally, per the IRS, like you have to be, you should be, but many people are not, to their own detriment, because they fear all the tax stuff. If Prismatic is the next set for Scarlet and Violet, what's the product that moons the hardest? Dark Horse SPC. If Prismatic is the next set for SMV, what's the product that moons the hardest? Again, like I always need to disclose talk versus walk. Where is my money? I am in loose packs more than anything. I don't have the space to and I have a decent amount of space, but I don't have the space to be screwing around with SPCs or UPCs or ETBs. Too much air. So I go for packs. I pay a lower percentage. I'm not paying a premium up to front to get them. So I'm getting the benefit on the front end. I'm having less space to store them. I will also save money shipping them out. If you realize the additional gains you get on ETBs or whatever, you're gonna be paying more money to ship them. That said, if you're like hindsight, 151 ETBs, you're not mad about Probstein charging $40 shipping on your listing on an ETB instead of whatever it might be for booster bundles or whatever. You've outperformed that for sure. But overall, I don't like any of the stuff with air. maybe the one that has the random promo in it. I forget what these surprise box or something. I just hate saying an answer like that because I don't have any. I don't like doing the talk walk thing. Dan always talking around the question. That's the thing though. Like, I'm not talking around the question. I'm answering the question accurately by giving the nuance, by giving the gray area. Like, if you ask me, Dan, what's 2 plus 2? I will tell you 4. There's no fence. The answer is 4. I guess if I want to get cheeky, it's like, if you ask me how many degrees are in a triangle, if we're talking like 2D geometry, yes, there's 180. But if you talk spherical geometry, if you put a triangle on a sphere, all the things are different. Higher level mathematics, there's some crazy things that go on. But if you ask me a question with a definitive answer, an objective answer, I will answer it objectively. If you ask me a question that is very subjective, I will answer it with all the gray area, all the nuance, all the like disclaimers. Disclaimer Dan in full force. And I think some people like value this channel for that. And some people like thumbs down, never subscribe, they go away immediately. And that's why I have 7,560 subscribers after 4.5 years on YouTube. I'm not like mainstream YouTube by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of people don't want that. And that's perfectly fine. Like, I just, that's the content I enjoy producing. That's the content I enjoy consuming as well. So yeah, it is what it is. Son is thinking daddy is rich and I'll never know the value of money until I earn it myself. My son just turned 14. Yeah, we don't really do like we don't do like an allowance per se. They're quite young. They're turning 5 and 7 this year. But at some point, chores will be a thing. At some point, allowance will be a thing. At some point, it'll be like, hey, if you want to take the car, if you wanna go on that trip, go to that concert, like there'll be things they have to do to earn that. And it'll be like one thing my parents did for me that I really liked, and I plan on doing for my kids too, is like they didn't pay for our whole wedding. I have friends who their parents put nothing towards their wedding. Maybe they don't know their own parents. Maybe their parents aren't alive anymore. Maybe they're estranged from their parents for whatever reason. I've had a good relationship with my parents my whole life. My parents paid for the DJ and they paid for the alcohol, which was obviously a big thing. We didn't cater it. We didn't cater the alcohol. We had our wedding in a barn, and we paid for the venue. We paid for the food. We paid for the table and chair rental. We paid for the officiant. My parents paid for the DJ and the alcohol, and we paid for the cake and all that stuff. Her parents paid for her dress and a couple other things, I believe. But one thing they did though is they did like we got married a bit more expensive than my sister did. And I think they paid for like more things of my sister's because they did more of a flat dollar amount. And I'm gonna tell my kids, I don't know what the number will be. Will the number be $5,000? Will the number be 1,000? Will it be 10,000? I don't know. I'll know more when I get there. But if my kids decide they're gonna elope with their future potential spouses, and say like Pokemon's doing really well, say financially we're doing really well, if I think the kids are really responsible and deserving of it, I could see there being a scenario where I tell my kids like, hey, whenever you get married, you're gonna get $10,000. If you have $100,000 wedding, you're getting 10 grand. If you have a $100 wedding, if you go to the county courthouse and you pop a bottle of champagne in the backyard and you do a what do they call it when everyone brings a dish? If you do a party in the backyard where everyone brings a dish, bring your own beer. If you do that kind of a wedding for $100, you'll still get $10,000. Like, that's the kind of thing I want to do. That's a similar thing to what my parents did too. I won't buy my kids a brand new car. They'll get something. They'll get something suitable. They'll get something safe. But they'll pay for the insurance, or they'll put the gas in it. They'll have some skin in the game in every aspect they do. I guess the wedding though. The wedding, theoretically the way that I intend to do it in the future. Need to run it by my wife. Need to like make sure she's on board with all of it. But I think she would be. But that would be them not having any skin in the game if I paid for more than it cost them. But that would be them consciously deciding, like, hey, mom and dad are offering us this amount of money. Like that could pay for a whole wedding, or that could pay for the photographer alone. I've been to weddings where the whole wedding, my wedding included, was less than 10 grand. So it's like that could pay for the whole wedding, or that could pay for the photographer alone. And that's kind of what my parents did too. I'm sure if we had done it in my backyard and we asked my parents to bring a plate and my grandparents to bring a plate and my sister, and had we done a potluck, I believe it's called, had we done a potluck in our backyard, my parents probably would have like given us roughly the same amount of money anyways. They probably would have insisted, hey, let us cater a little something, do the food. But anyways, I'm very consciously trying to like make sure they know the value of a dollar and are enabled, not entitled. That's something I've said a lot. Krabby's card says, holy bleep, I just realized arcades are casinos for toddlers. So are Pokemon cards. Yes, absolutely. Labubu PC reveal when? Never. I don't have one now. I don't intend to ever. It's funny. My parents came over. My sister came over tonight to have dinner and then to help set up stuff for the party Sunday. And my mom was talking about Labubus. I forget what it was. Some coworker, somebody had been talking about Labubus, and my sister was aware of them. I talked about them a little bit. No red lights. We haven't got there. I'm fine having no red lights. What do you think a 151 booster bundle will be worth in 5 more years? I don't know what one is worth today. Honestly, like I'll Google it right now. I know that I'm paying $9.50 a pack because packs are about 11. So 6 packs in a bundle. I'm gonna guess before I search it up. I haven't typed into TCG Player, but I haven't searched yet. So given that packs are around 11, 10.50 or 11, and there's 6 in a thing, I'd say they're like 70. I'd say there's a 10%-ish premium. Maybe there's 75 or so. Let me see. I know they've been being reprinted a lot. So the buy box is $75.99. The market price is $73.32. I'm pretty spot on there. What do I think they'll be worth? I could see that pack at some point. I don't know when. Maybe it'll take 6 months. Maybe it'll take 6 years. I think that pack will just kind of like bump up out of nowhere to like 20. It could take 6 years. That will melt people's brain. Dan, oh my God, Dan saying 151 could take 6 years to double. I don't think it will. I think it will happen sooner than that, which is absurd to say, because like that means it's going to have a compound annual growth rate of like I think it might happen in 2 years or less. And saying that just hurts me partially because like if I think that has a high likelihood of happening, why do I only have 10,000 packs? Why don't I have 50,000 packs? Anyways, but I think packs will be over 20 within 5 years, which means minimum it's 120, right? If there's no premium, let's say it's 150 if there's a 20% premium. I think they'll be 150 to 200 in 5 years. That said, I'm not putting a big position into booster bundles. I might have, it's all relative, I might have 30 displays of 151 booster bundles. Maybe. I don't even know exactly. But I more have loose packs. 30 displays of booster bundles would be 1,800 packs. There are only 60 packs of display, right? So I have way more than that in loose packs because that's what I sell for a premium. That's what I can buy at more of a discount. So that's what I buy. I've watched the Money Guy show a little bit. What am I supposed to do with this 200 XP? Can I trade it for an ETB or something? Yeah, the whole top fan thing on YouTube. It's interesting. I have some time to make plays / churn. It's more if I were churning, I'd have sold my ES position at 350, 700. I'd have sold Fusion Strike when it doubled to 200. My performance is better holding IMO. Thanks. But that likely won't always be the case. And as crazy as this sounds, there are people that sold their Evolving at 350 that outperformed it in the meantime. Like, in the meantime, they sold it 350, and in 2 years or whatever, it 5x to 1,800. There are people that beat that actively. There are people that bought gray felt hats and they graded them and they flipped them and they went crazy. There are people that were buying collections at 80% and parting them out on eBay, and they enjoy the process too. So it all depends. It all depends on what time you have and what you want to do. There's so many layers there. But as crazy as it sounds, there are people that would have underperformed if they didn't sell their Evolving Skies for 200. That is a statement of fact. Dan is off the fence. Dan is stating out a fact that some people did better because they sold their Evolving at 200. Because they turned that 200, and yes, they added time that some people don't want to add, so props to the people who held it. But there are people that turned that 200 into $20,000. You might not believe that, but there are people that in the time that Evolving went from 200 to 2,000, there are people that turned their 200 into 20,000. I guarantee it. I mean, that happened. Absolutely. There are people that, like, the amount of capital they had at the time, they way outperformed it by working, yes. And again, not everyone wants to do that, but there are people that, like, some people are handicapping their businesses by investing too much too early because they have the time and they have the desire to flip, but they feel like they need to hold everything because they get FOMO that I might miss this going up to the moon. And yeah, so again, I will always hit you with nuance. I hear MetaZoo's been going hard at cons. They're doing a lot of stuff at cons. Man, I need to find time to make a MetaZoo Saturday video. I will not be doing it tomorrow. But yeah, I'm not engaging in it, but I like what they're doing with the convention packs, the redeemables, the redeem them for the sketch cards and all that. Like, it's interesting. I'll be interested to see what those do in the long-term future. I'm investing, speculating only in the boxes, in the packs, essentially right now. Maybe at some point I'll dabble in some of those, but like I dabbled in Old Zoo, I dabbled in a lot of stuff, and overall it's just like the time, the energy, the capital. I'd rather have it in, this is not a sealed one, but I'd rather have less time into it, more capital into like this baseline product. All the extra is just too much. It's a lot. Appreciate you being here, young playmaker, and everyone being here in chat. It is now 12. I have to prep a brisket tonight. I have to prep some pork shoulders tonight. I should get in bed by at least 2 a.m. I probably have a couple hours worth of stuff I have to do before I go to bed. If anyone has any final questions, let me know. I will take them all before I finish. But yeah, I'm going to be trying to wrap up relatively quickly. I know I did not go live initially. I thought I was live, and I was not. But I will, I have the slideshow over here. I'm not going to show it tonight. I know I said New Jersey Collecticon plus vacation recap in my title. I dabbled some of that in here. Maybe I'll remove it from the title when this goes posted to a video. But Monday will be a New Jersey Collecticon and vacation recap. It'll be the old school format. It'll be a Dan presentation, slideshow. You'll see every meal that I ate along the way. You'll see the Diggerland highlights. You'll see, I'll have to put Quaxley faces on the kids. You'll see Ponga riding in the back of my minivan. You'll see all the food all the meat I made for Biscuit Palooza. I'm looking forward to making that video. It was a great vacation. But anyways, let me wrap up these final questions and then I'll end it. So if you buy something at Walmart, for example, and pay sales tax, are you supposed to tell your accountant so they can't deduct it? There's layers to this one. Many places, eBay, TC Player is an interesting one too. Many places that you buy from will take your reseller certificate and they will allow you to exempt sales tax. If they don't, you can, most jurisdictions, again, I'm in New York, so I can't speak for every state, but New York, if I buy from a vendor like Pokemon Center, if I spend $100,000 on Pokemon Center with intent for resale, if I intend to resell all my sitting cuties, they charge sales tax. There's no way to get around that. There's a mechanism, not through my accountant. I guess if my accountant were my bookkeeper too, I think a lot of people conflate accountants and bookkeepers. They're different things. But I personally do my own bookkeeping and my accountant does the accounting. But anyways, there would be a mechanism where my bookkeeper would be able to relay that number to New York State and I would be able to claw back sales tax I paid on items intended for resale that I shouldn't have paid. I've never done that. I've never done that. I've always just had the sales tax exemptions on file with eBay, with wherever else. And if and when it's a vendor, like sometimes I do resell items from Pokemon Center. I just eat it. There's a mechanism. It's fairly just, I don't want to deal with it. It's a minor amount overall of my total thing, but there's a mechanism to claw that back. It probably opens you up to more likelihood of scrutiny, more risk for potential audits or whatever. So yeah, I've never done it, but there is a mechanism. There probably is one in every jurisdiction, but I know there is in New York. Timmy says, I don't think there's enough people holding sealed for the long term. If people like you and Nick don't hold back 100 plus cases, I don't feel like there's enough off the grid hoarders. Could be wrong though. I very anecdotal. I've had consults with people who have $500,000 positions, and it's crazy to me because they're like, oh, it's nothing relative to yours. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's like almost as much as I have, and I've been doing this for 11 years and blah, blah, like, and I've done consults with people that have more than me. I've done consults with people that have multi-million-dollar worth of stuff, and they've never sold any of it, or they learning how to sell it right now. And it's like, there's some scary stuff going on. I run the live streams with PK and Ponga and Skya. I know a ton of this is being ripped, but I know a ton of this is being invested in as well. I've talked with bot operators who are fulfilling orders of 10,000, more than that packs at $9-10 a pack of 151 by people who are not from the space, by people who don't care about it at all, by people who are just hoarding it, investing in it for future price appreciation. And they'll probably make money. How long will they continue to keep making money? I don't know. But I know I have the outlets. I know I have the experience, the ability to ultimately sell everything I own. There's a lot of people in the space that like, and it's working so far. So they're going to keep doing it as long as it works. And I just worry how it will all ultimately, I won't say end, how it will all ultimately unwind and return to something more sane. I do think we're in a new normal of sorts. I don't think we'll go back to 5 years of product at distros, sub $100 boxes every set for 2 years worth. But I also don't think every set will be $200 plus at release forever. I don't think every set will be $1,000, $500 5 years later. But a lot of people think that will be a thing forever. Snack Bread says, just wanted to say I appreciate your honesty and keeping what/how you do Pokemon transparent. Have a great night. You have a great night as well. Marshall says, Metazoo forever. Marshall. Sky with the fire emojis. Marshall says, why is Metazoo the GOAT? I enjoyed a lot. I really like the idea of cryptids. I really like the idea of the public domain being utilized to build like a universe and build IP around public domain creatures. I think it's very novel. I think it's very interesting. I think Mike had a brilliant idea that was executed poorly. So I'm so confident in the idea that I and a few other people bought the IP. I am a part owner of the IP. I have no day-to-day involvement in it. But yeah, I believe in the idea, and I believe in the team that's executing that idea now so well, so much, that I invested like a decent amount of money into it. And I'm biased, but I'm very excited to see what they do in the future. Some slabs like Latios Tag Team PSA 10 English is over 10K now. Is this market overhyped? And can this hype still continue a couple months? I think that card will retrace at some point. I would have said that when it was 5K. Will it retrace from 10 down to 6? And had I said it at 5K, will its retrace still be higher than what the card was at that time? I have no idea. I own 0 of that card. If I had one, I would sell it. But it could double. Like, I think it's relatively inevitable that card will retrace 30% at some point. But will it be from 10 to 70? Sorry, 10 to 7? Or will it be from 20 to 14? Or will it actually retrace 70%? Like, I truly don't know the answer to any of those questions. I don't speculate in slabs, largely. I own some slabs that are PC because they have a meaning to me. They were a gift, or I opened them at some event, whatever it may be. but largely I do not collect in slabs or speculate in slabs, invest in slabs, because I think the market drastically overvalues them relative to what I think they should be worth. So I'm open to being entirely wrong on that, but I am much more like a sealed guy. I do spec a little bit in promos sometimes when I think they're way too low. Sometimes if a promo is way too low, it's like I'll just buy 1,000 of them and I'll just hide them somewhere and I'll deal with them later. Ninja Gold Star, this random Mimikyu thing that I wasn't even targeting this. I just got a bunch from the guy who was breaking down the celebrations packs that I was buying. But Snack Bread says, I think there's way more people holding sealed compared to how many were 5+ years ago. Makes me scared to think how sealed modern won't do as good as people think in 6+ years. Two statements that I'm confident making, very confident making. There is way more investing going on than there was 5 years ago. Simultaneously, there's way more ripping going on than there was 5 years ago. The immovable object is the unprecedented print runs. The unstoppable force is the live stream attrition of sealed product, the opening. Who will win? I have no idea. I'm placing my bets a little bit on both sides. I am simultaneously ripping more product than I've ever ripped. Not me firsthand. It's PK and Ponga and Skya. But my operation is simultaneously ripping the most I've ever ripped and simultaneously investing the most I've ever invested. Which one will win? I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. You and Sky are the goats for keeping MetaZoo alive. I enjoy the MetaZoo Saturday streams and look forward to more. There probably won't be one tomorrow if I had to guess, but maybe there will be. They should be returning within a couple of weeks for Torrential Tides though. So looking forward to that. Hopefully those guys investing will figure out how they're going to move the product when the time comes. I know guys and gals personally who have never sold a thing and have way too much sealed. I'm getting a lot of emails lately. Collector apps, 50K, 100K, it's all random, this, that, and the other thing. It's like I'm not gonna offer on that. I'll pass. I'll pass. Like if you want to break it down to packs, I'll take the packs. If you have sealed ETB cases, sealed booster box cases, I will take those at a high percentage, 80, 85, 90%. But I just pass on all the ancillary stuff. But a lot of collectors are paying high amounts for all that stuff. Will they always be though? Will they be when the time comes for you to sell? That's the $1 million, billion dollar question actually in this current market. So yeah, with that, I am fully caught up on chat. I've been live for a little bit over 2 hours. After that debacle, 8 minutes of me not actually being live. As always, I appreciate everyone watching. If you were looking for the New Jersey Collecticon vacation recap, I sprinkled it throughout that live stream a little bit, but stay tuned for Monday. Monday, I will have a new hot buy list coming to you. I will have a New Jersey Collecticon vacation recap, long PowerPoint video. As always, I appreciate